Hi, today we'll be discussing about the basic economic ideas. So what are the basic economic ideas? You may have watched TV programs where politicians discuss about the inflation crisis, heard the news about unemployment and poverty, or the economic recessions that have been going on in the country. But with all this extensive range of issues, they will all lead to one fundamental economic problem from which all others arise. And what exactly is the fundamental economic problem? Scarcity. It is the fact that there's only scarce resources to satisfy unlimited wants. And as a result of this, choices have to be made by consumers, firms, and governments. These scarce resources can be classified into four types. They are called factors of production. First of all, land. These are the natural resources. They not only include the land itself, but also all the resources from the earth that could be extracted, such as coal, oil, gold, and many others. Land will be used in the production of goods and services, often as raw materials to be manufactured into goods and services. Meanwhile, labor. This factor consists of human resources. They are the efforts and skills of the workforce required to produce goods and services. The workforce consists of workers who get rewarded by wages and salaries for their work. Often the workforce of a country is the working population at working age. Next is capital. These are man-made resources used to produce goods and services. Examples of capital are money and capital goods. Capital goods are man-made goods used to aid the production of other goods and services, such as machines, equipments, furnitures, and fixtures. There's also entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are those who have the skills and risk-taking ability in order to make decisions that help produce goods and services to meet consumer wants. Entrepreneurs do so by gathering factors of production required to produce goods and services. These entrepreneurs can be individuals or managers of a large company. The return for enterprise is the profits that are made. Therefore, the production process refers to the combining of resources or factors of production to create goods and services that will satisfy wants. And when consumers satisfy their wants, this is called consumption. Production and consumption can relate through the circular flow of income. Circular flow of income refers to the flows of money throughout the economy. As you can see from the graph, they often represent a free market economic system, which I will explain to you later. Nonetheless, as you can see from the diagram, the red arrow shows the exchange of money where household spending on goods and services, often called consumer expenditure, will go to the firms in the terms of revenue. And as a return, individuals provide the labor that enables firms to produce goods and services. These individuals, as a part of the households, will receive wages, rents, and dividends. Through these payments, they will allow consumer expenditure, and again, the money will go to the firms and the cycle continues. Meanwhile, the black arrows represent the customers receiving goods and services from firms as the household spending. And the households represent the factors of production, one of which is labor to the firms. However, consumers can't satisfy all their wants. Because resources are scarce, people will have to choose which ones to satisfy. The cost of choosing which ones to satisfy is expressed by opportunity cost. They are the next best alternative given up to choose the alternative we want most. For example, Patrick here only have enough money to choose between these two choices. When he decides to choose shoes, the cost of it will not only be money, but also the jersey he had to sacrifice to get the shoes. Since resources are scarce, it is important to be as efficient with our resources as possible, which is why countries specialize. Specialization refers to the process by which individuals, firms, and economies concentrate on producing goods and services that they are best at producing. By best, it means that the production of goods and services will be as efficient and as productive with the usage of resources. Additionally, division of labor involves workers to specialize. Yet, what is division of labor? Division of labor refers to the breaking down of manufacturing process into different individual tasks where each worker specializes in each task. Through this method of production, workers can focus in each different task and be more productive since they are skilled at it. Increase in productivity of workers will raise output. However, as time goes by, workers will be bored doing repeating tasks and will create dissatisfaction among workers. Now let me explain to you more about resource allocation in different economic systems. Economic systems explain which choices on resource allocation will be made in the economy. There are three different types of economic systems. There are market economy, planned economy, and mixed economy. These economies can be organized in terms of sectors. There are three main types of sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Primary sector consists of activities relating to extracting and obtaining resources from the earth that will be then used as raw materials in the secondary sector. For example, mining and oil extraction. The secondary sector will then manufacture these raw materials and produce goods and services. For example, the clothing industry is producing clothes from cotton. Meanwhile, the tertiary sector is the service sector that provides services to customers such as banking, education, and many others. One of the economic systems is market economy, or often called the free market economy. In a free market economy, decisions on how resources are allocated are taken by the private sector, which consists of individuals and firms. The government has very few part to play in the economy. Meanwhile, prices and interests of individuals have a big part in this economy when influencing decisions that have to be taken. For example, the interests of individuals will lead to demand in specific products. As a result, if there is high demand for a product, it will give an idea to producers on what to produce and whether it will be successful or not. Therefore, firms will tend to allocate resources to produce goods and services that are demanded the most, since it is the most profitable. This is when market mechanism takes place, since decisions on price and quantity are made on the basis of demand and supply alone. The advantage of a market economy system is that firms will respond quickly to changes in consumer demand. They will have high incentive to be efficient and innovative. Yet the disadvantages of a market economy are that the merit goods will be produced as long as it is profitable and external costs are not taken into account. Merit goods are often underconsumed. Meanwhile, the merit goods are overconsumed. On the contrary, in a planned economic system, decisions on how resources are allocated and what goods will be produced is made by the government or public sector. Government will determine what goods should be best produced for the population. Therefore, most of the goods that will be produced in the economy are those that will meet the criteria of consumer needs instead of wants. The advantage of this type of economic system is that there will be full employment of resources. Therefore, no workers will be left unemployed. Therefore, this is the total opposite of free market economy. In a free market economy, firms will only consider demand of those who can afford. However, in planned economy, government will take care of vulnerable groups and give aid. The disadvantage of planned economy is that since workers will get the same amount of income, no matter how much goods they produce, they will still get the same amount of income. This will lead to the lack of incentive to work and to produce output, which lead to low productivity and efficiency. The best example of a country with planned economy is North Korea. However, a country can entirely be dependent on its own in terms of producing goods and services. They will still need the aid of other countries to produce goods and services they can't produce. The third economic system is the mixed economic system. In a mixed economy, decisions on how resources are allocated are split between the private sector and the public sector. Both private and public sector can have ownership on resources and private sectors will operate normally except there will be government intervention. The benefit of market economy is that there will be high employment of resources. Firms will be more efficient and productive compared to planned economy with the incentive to receive profit. Public goods will be provided in two ways. Either government or public sector produce it themselves, or they pay the private sector to produce it with the government expenditure. Government expenditure will be funded by tax revenue received from imposing tax on individuals. Through this expenditure, they should be able to control the activities of firms, offer welfare payments, and put into action the decisions that will help the government achieve its objectives for the country. However, the disadvantages are not all externalities will be considered, since the government doesn't have complete control. In today's economy, most countries have mixed economic systems. However, the degree of influence that the public and private sector have might not be equal. It is possible to have transitioned from planned to market economy. As a result, central planning will be reduced. Transition from planned to market economy often occur because a market economy has stronger financial system since highly motivated by profit. Private sector will have more control on the economy, thus more choices for customers. Not to mention, due to the profit incentive of firms, production process will be more efficient and more goods and services will be produced with the same amount of resources. This will make price of goods cheaper and there will be less waste since resources will be used more efficiently. However, transitioning from planned to market economy would mean that lesser external costs will be taken into account. Meanwhile, transition from market to mixed economy can also occur. This means that there will be an increase in government intervention to help control the economic activities. However, the economy is so different by profit incentive. The benefit of this type of transition is that public goods will be produced, welfare payments will be given to those in need, and government could use rules and regulations to restrict the consumption of demerit goods. The allocation of resources can be shown through the production possibility curve. The production possibility curve shows the combination of two goods that can be produced with the same amount of resources. So for example, as you can see from the graph, the point A shows that all the resources are allocated to producing automobiles instead of wooden chairs. Point A shows otherwise. Point B shows that with the same amount of resources, you can produce 38 units of automobiles and 20 units of wooden chairs. Meanwhile, point C shows that in order to produce 30 units of automobiles, you can only produce 40 wooden chairs with the same amount of resources. These points are the points at the margin. It shows the maximum capacity of the combination of the two goods that you can produce if you use all the resources. Meanwhile, point F shows production combination of two goods, however, not using all the resources. Additionally, point G is a point where production combination can't be achieved yet because there's insufficient resources. Through this production possibility curve, it represents the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost of producing 40 units of automobiles is the 70 units of wooden chairs that could have been produced with the resources at its full capacity. To sum it all up, the basic economic ideas consist of the fundamental economic problem, factors of production, opportunity costs, specialization, and circular flow of income. Opportunity costs can be shown through the production possibility curve. There are three types of market economic systems, which are free market economy, planned economy, and mixed economy. It is possible to have transition from planned economy to free market economy and from free market economy to mixed economy. So there we have it, the basic economic ideas.